dive in. I feel like my inbox is overflowing with articles about remote work these days.
Yeah.
It's like suddenly everyone's become an expert.
Well, you know what they say, right?
What's that?
Everyone's got an opinion. Especially about where they'd rather be working.
So true.
Speaking of which, how about that friend of yours? Did you ever convince him to ditch the office?
Oh, man.
What happened?
Don't even get me started.
Oh, come on. Spill the tea.
He's got like a million reasons why he thinks remote work is just the worst.
Really?
I know. That's like we're living in two different realities.
Okay, let's break this down a little bit.
Yeah.
You're obviously team remote work, right?
Totally.
So give me your best pitch. Why should we all ditch the commute and embrace the home office?
Okay, so picture this.
Right.
You wake up,
Yeah.
grab your coffee, and boom,
Yeah.
you're at work.
Nice.
No soul-crushing commute.
I like it.
No more overpriced lattes.
Woo! Yeah, saving money.
Yeah.
I'm listening. Plus, you can actually, see your family.
During the week.
Yes. It's like you get this whole extra chunk of life back, you know?
Okay, I'll admit, the flexibility is definitely tempting.
Yeah.
And I do love saving money.
Right.
But let's be real for a second. What about productivity?
Uh-huh.
Don't you miss those spontaneous brainstorming sessions?
Please.
Those water cooler chats?
The spontaneous brainstorming sessions?
Yeah.
They were usually just, an hour of people talking over each other.
True.
And as for the water cooler chats, hello, Slack.
Oh, come on.
We can still share funny memes and cat videos, maybe even more efficiently.
Okay, you got me there. Sometimes those meetings can be a black hole of time, I get it.
Right.
But what about the feeling of being part of a team? You know, that sense of camaraderie you get from being in the trenches together.
Yeah.
Doesn't that suffer when everyone's off in their own little world?
Not necessarily. I think my team has gotten closer since we went remote, actually.
We have virtual coffee breaks, game nights, even a book club.
Oh, wow.
And let's be honest, some of those in-office team building exercises were kind of cringe.
Okay. You win?
Like trust falls.
No, I'm with you on that one. Trust falls are a hard pass for me.
Right.
But I gotta say, you're a pretty social person.
Yeah.
What about the people who really crave that in-person interaction? Not everyone thrives in a solitary environment.
That's fair. I get that. Not
Yeah.
everyone is cut out for being fully remote. But here's the thing.
Okay.
We seem to think it's all or nothing, you know? But I would argue that the flexibility and the work-life balance that comes with working from home is kind of like a built-in perk. And honestly, if a company truly values your work, they should compensate you fairly, regardless of where you're sitting.
You know what? You've got me thinking. Maybe we're both right in our own way.
That's the beauty of these deep dives. It's all about challenging those assumptions and looking at things from different angles.
You know what this whole conversation is reminding me of something?
Here we go. What rabbit hole are we going down now?
You remember that minimalist living expert Mickytolife we were talking about?
Oh, yeah. The one who could probably organize a junk drawer and make it look like a Zen garden. What about him?
Well, he had this whole philosophy about decluttering, not just your physical space, but your mental space too. Figuring out what's essential for you to be productive and happy. And it got me thinking, maybe we can apply that same principle to work.
I like where you're going with this. Tell me more.
So it's like stripping away all those preconceived notions and really asking yourself, what kind of work environment lets me do my absolute best work? What makes me feel connected and motivated? Is it the structure of an office or the flexibility of working from home? Or is it something in between,
So instead of getting all caught up in this WFH versus office battle, maybe we should be focusing on how to create a work experience that's really tailored to individual needs.
Exactly. It's like you're designing your own workspace, but for your whole work life. You pick the elements that let you thrive, whether that's a dedicated home office, regular in-person team meetings, or, a mix of both.
I like that.
Yeah.
It puts the power back into the hands of the individual.
Yeah.
And it acknowledges that there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Yeah.
I mean, what works for a software developer might be totally different for someone in sales, right?
Absolutely. And it's not even just about the type of work you do. It's about your personality, your lifestyle, your family situation. All of that stuff plays a role in figuring out your ideal work setup.
This whole conversation is making me realize that maybe we've been thinking about this whole WFH debate wrong this whole time. Instead of trying to figure out who's right, maybe we should be exploring all the different options and finding solutions that work for everyone.
Exactly. It's about flexibility, it's about communication, and it's about trust.
Trust is a big one. If companies can trust their employees to get the work done no matter where they are, that goes a long way in building a really positive and productive work environment.
Couldn't agree more. You know, there's actually this fascinating little story in that Mickytolife video that really illustrates this whole point.
Ooh, I love a good story. Let's hear it.
Okay, so it's about a king who gets this prophecy that his son is going to overthrow him someday.
Whoa, talk about family drama. So what do? Lock him up in a tower? Send him off to some faraway land?
He actually tried to be a little bit clever. He was like, if I send my son away, far away from the kingdom, there's no way that prophecy can come true, right?
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
In a trying to avoid a prophecy kind of way.
But here's the thing. The fact that he sent his son away, that he tried to control everything, that's actually what made the prophecy come true in the end.
Wow, what a plot twist.
Right.
So how does this relate to our WFH conversation?
Well, I think it shows how dangerous it can be when you try to force one solution onto a really complex problem. Like the king trying to manipulate the prophecy. Maybe we're so focused on everyone being in the office or everyone working remotely that we're missing opportunities to create a better work model, one that's more adaptable.
That's a really interesting way to think about it. So instead of forcing everyone back to the office or just assuming that working from home is the answer for everything, we should be focusing on creating a work experience that's more adaptable and personalized.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot between structure and flexibility, between collaboration and having that autonomy, between meeting face-to-face and connecting remotely, and realizing that what works for one person or one team won't necessarily work for another.
After going back and forth, I'm starting to think that the answer to this whole "is WFH good or bad?" question is, it depends.
You might be right about that.
Wait a minute. Are you saying I'm right? This is a rare occurrence?
Okay.
I'm going to enjoy this.
Okay. You win this round.
Yeah.
But seriously, the more we talk about it, the more I realize there's no magic solution.
It's not about finding the right answer. It's about asking the right questions. What kind of work environment do we need to really do our best? What helps us feel connected, productive, and happy?
And those answers can change over time, depending on what we're working on, the team we're on, even what's going on in our lives. The important thing is to keep talking and be open to adapting as things change.
I like that. It's not about finding the perfect answer. It's about creating a work experience that can evolve and grow with us.
And honestly, I think that's a much more exciting and optimistic way to think about the future of work, don't you think?
Absolutely. It takes the pressure off trying to find the perfect solution and lets us experiment and adapt and figure out what truly works for us as individuals. But hey, speaking of adapting, I think it's time for us to adapt to our thirst and grab a refill. What do you say we take a quick break and come back with some final thoughts?
Sounds good to me. We'll be back in a flash to wrap things up.
I just want to give another shout out to Micky from Mickytolife. His channel is a treasure trove of inspiration, and he's a huge Sip&Talk fan.
Absolutely. Make sure to check him out and maybe even share your awesome podcast intro with him once you've created it.
We're back and ready to wrap up this deep dive on working from home.
It's funny how we started with yay or nay and ended up talking about everything from prophecies to personal work styles.
Right. And that's the beauty of these conversations, I guess. You never know where they'll lead.
That's for sure. One of the biggest things I'm taking away from this is that the future of work isn't about picking a side. It's about building bridges.
Bridges? What do you mean by that?
Well, bridges between what individuals need and what companies are looking for. Bridges between flexibility and staying connected. Bridges between being remote and being in the office.
I like that.
It's about finding that sweet spot where everyone feels supported to do their best work no matter where they are.
Yeah, it's not about us versus them. It's about all of us figuring this out together.
Exactly. Working smarter, not harder, and building a work culture that's actually productive and makes people happy.
It's work in progress, though, right?
Absolutely. What works now might not work in a year or two. We need to stay flexible, communicate openly, and be willing to adapt as we go.
You know what? This has really gotten me thinking. I'm going to talk to my team next week about how we can make our work experience more flexible and personalized.
That's great to hear. And remember, it's not about finding the perfect solution. It's about getting started and being open to making adjustments along the way.
So for everyone listening, whether you're team, pajamas and laptop, or you miss those office high fives,
there's no one right answer to the whole WFH question.
It's about finding what works best for you, your team, and your company. And you know what? Maybe by realizing that it all depends, we can actually find a way of working that's even better than we thought possible.
Well said. Cheers to flexibility, communication, and finding that work-life balance wherever we can.
Cheers to that. Thanks for joining us on Sip and Talk, and we'll see you next time.